as far as drip developments, but there was one person who stood out more than anybody is, talking to authority. Let's get into who that was. Hello, folks. So, as I was saying, we had quite a week. We got a week in the drip community of just information that was not in alignment with what we're being told. And the person who is the MVP of the week, drip community MVP of the week, was one of the first people who has come up against the empire that's led by the founder. I've made quite a few shows about it and thanked Forex for his contribution to at least my life. He made my life so that I'm able to do the things like have this show and talk to you weekly. My little small audience who I very much appreciate, because we do not ask that you like, subscribe, or follow. But this week was a little bit different for me because this time something happened that triggered my cybersecurity self. So for those who don't know, when I retired from the drip community, I was a cybersecurity professional working for one of the top four, EY, kind of in the corner there. Okay, that's a mistake. Gotta love your Ring doorbell going off during a filming. So one of the things you do as a cybersecurity professional in one of the big four, and by the way, I'm not saying that anything that I say is endorsed by another organization, but when you have access to these very big companies, what you're doing is you're supposed to go in and provide an auditing / assessment eye for your clients. Now, in my first life in this, in like 2006, we were more auditors, but internal audit. So we were like the internal affairs of the organization. People don't sit by you. People are afraid to talk to you, that kind of thing. Like literally in the cafeteria, when you'd go sit, people would make sure they don't sit by the auditors. So you just learn things. And after you have over a decade plus of interviewing smart people who you're just as smart as, because you're a developer, admin, which I am, it makes people uncomfortable. But in the assessment in the assessment sphere, you're able to look at things. Sometimes you're hired to help somebody brand new who just got into the organization that wants to set up protocols to do things right. And then you have people who you're being brought in to say, hey, are they doing everything right? So that's generally where I would come in. And you don't always get the most qualified people during these assessments. Very seldom do you get a person who, like myself, who has been a developer, a sysadmin, working with all the complex technology that people are being audited on. So you can say things to people and they kind of have to go, the assessor being the people, and those people kind of have to go, well, okay, because they don't know, they've never worked that job. They don't understand code. They don't understand what systems can do, operating systems, applications, databases, your different technologies, whether that's Java, whether that's any kind of UI or UI versus backend. It's highly complicated. And generally, the people who are performing those jobs don't leave those jobs because you're pretty well paid. But sometimes you can get someone who speaks like they know what they're talking about confidently, and the organization tends to believe them. So, like our MVP this week, you just have that doesn't sound right, and I'm going to base that on data, not feelings. There's no feelings involved. There's data. And so it's a hard thing to do. And as an assessor, a lot of people wouldn't bring me on their projects because I'm not going to sugarcoat bad things happening, because usually we're reporting for a company that has shareholders, whether that's private or public or internal. And that's where they hired us, to use our expert eye to say, hey, this doesn't seem right. And until this week, and you could go back in our videos, I've always said, I'm not sure that Forex is a developer, but I know he's good, and I think he's an architect. Last week I commented on BB and how he was the Wozniak of the Forex Apple ecosystem, if you will, with Drip. But nothing has really rolled out since BB. And I could still say, well, he's talking to developers and he seems to be impressing them. He's got this game coming out that he's really, really high on. You can go back and listen to the videos, which I'll not include at the bottom because I don't know how to do that, or I'm too lazy to. But something finally happened this week because of our MVP that brought light to it. Now, the MVP, I'll give you a clue. The MVP literally comes on at the exact same time as we have our discussion. So people are probably watching the MVP, not me, but that's okay. So the MVP has been for about a month, maybe a little bit longer, going, something's not right. And so you don't want to fudge your own bag. And there was not enough conclusive proof for me to illustrate that that was truth. I couldn't be sure. But then this week, something else happened where an untruth was spoken and the MVP brought it to light. So who is the MVP? The MVP is Drip Coach. Drip Coach for over months has said that he wants to build a community. And he put, together the marketing down, which, didn't know if it was going to work, but his volition to do the right thing for the community seemed to stand out. Then it looked like he was getting a little bit bitter. And so I started to wonder, because we've seen a lot of people flame out being pissed at Forex. And so I started going, what is he doing here? But then he always shows that he's open to the idea of, being wrong. And that's a humble character. And he's shown integrity by providing transparency. So the dev of the game, Bitfighter, released an exclusive NFT for pre-sale, and it was pretty cheap. And he did an interview with Drip Coach, and when he explained it, he said that they were given a specific offer to be brought in to the Forex community, which would go under the guise of what we've been experiencing, which is massive frustration. We don't care about your animal farm. We just want Drip to realize its potential. You've completely signed off and said, hey, it's up to us. But unfortunately, a dev, not the Bitfighter dev, came to you and said, okay, we'll trust you, and that's DDD. And once they did that, they became a part of the marketing engine that is Forex Shark. He understands hype, he knows how to play it, but as a non-dev, or a non-dev in my eye, based on my experience in this field, you don't know how many rooms I'd walk into where somebody would be like, yeah, I'm a dev. And I'd ask them questions, and they'd be able to hold on. But then when I got into the cover, they were an architect. Architects are highly talented, highly charismatic. They know a lot and can kind of put themselves in any area, even including development, and come off as somewhat of an expert on it. But they're not what they say they are. And I don't care about that. It's only when there's integrity in question that, the hair on my back of my neck stands up. And so that happened this week. When offered the opportunity to come into the Forex sphere, the developer said, no, it's okay. But it wasn't only because they wanted to do it themselves or they felt like, oh, I don't want to wait forever. They did it because the amount that was offered was substantially less for $0. Now, I can't confirm this, but I'm a cybersecurity professional. I look for behaviors, I look for characteristics, and I believe that this person is a true dev doing it the hard way. Because one of the things that he admitted was in his stream with Drip Coach was that, hey, dev is hard, marketing is equally as hard. And there's no doubt Forex knows how to manage that. But people don't want that anymore. People want something that they can use. And they have it. They have the capability. And Drip is a fork that BB used with Forex to create something that is bigger than the both of them. And so now BB's gone, and so we have Forex. And that was still okay. But now I have, again, let's go back to my assessment head, right? I'm looking at this as a cybersecurity professional, trying to assess who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. I have to look at data next. I have to use my own experience. And my own experience tells me the dev's telling the truth. Now let's go back in time. When I came out of college, I worked in the music industry. I was an associate director for a music publishing company. And we worked for a guy who was one of the most charismatic guys you can ever meet. But boy, was he a shrewd businessman. And he would always go for, cutthroat deals, something that it was completely a benefit to him. And if you didn't play in his game, you were out. And so my life experience, on top of even the cybersecurity stuff, has given me the ability to see these kind of people. I mean, I worked crazy hours. I walked an average of 2 miles just to get to the train on Long Island to go into New York City for this job, because it was a one in a lifetime chance. Computerized their whole office, you name it, I did it. But you couldn't build loyalty with this guy. He cared about himself, and he was a shrewd businessman. He made himself a lot of money. He's still doing well. I wish him well. I don't have any animosity against him. It's like the Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders, or the Celtics versus the Lakers. It's just there's a rivalry on the court, but after the court, who cares? So I'm not emotionally tied to any level of discourse between a dev and Forex, whatever. But I look at it for the Drip community. And when I saw the behavior of Forex, now you're putting too much together. Now I've got a personality that might not care about this drip community. I don't know if you guys have gone to Twitter and read the responses to any time he tweets. I started to do a show on it, angry tweets to Forex. But they are not just ignorant, they are informed decisions that they don't like him. So I was trying to keep my mouth closed until this guy releases DDD, because part of it seems like he's angry at the drip community that we don't want to support his animal farm. Would have been happy to support it before this week, but it's going to be hard for me to do anything with this guy after DDD launches. I think part of him might know that, so that's why he keeps dangling it in front of our faces, why he won't release it. Because if you truly cared about, in my opinion, if you truly cared about people who saw an opportunity to take care of themselves and their families, and you were doing that, people were adding on things to their homes, people were paying their parents' bills, people were doing a lot of different stuff. It was such a loving, supportive community. But then after BB left, things just haven't been the same, which goes back to the architect versus dev, right? And so getting back to our drip MVP, he didn't take sides. He didn't say, whether the dev's a good guy or not. But he presented the thing that you have to do in this space, which is present people with choice. When we first came in, I think Bankteller and Forex were pretty much on the same level. And then Bankteller started talking more, and people were like, Forex for president. And because Bankteller was kind of doing some shady stuff, he was changing things and nobody understood. And I think Foodtopian or Driptopian had a nice little clip that he plays. But I don't think that Forex is for us. I think that Forex is for himself. And that's sad. Not that that makes him a bad guy, but it does make the Forex sphere a little bit more like the Empire, and Drip Coach more like the Rebellion. Is he our Luke Skywalker? So it's weird for me to say this because I've tried to give the benefit of the doubt as much as we can. The show has tried to support him. Got years of showing it. I've got videos even last month saying, hey, if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't still be retired, right? But if somebody who's a bad actor hires you into a job and says, hey, all right, cover it up, right? Like, no, you say I quit. That's what you do. You have to walk away. And so we just got over 100 subscribers. I imagine we're going to go under that today because I'm speaking truth to power. And there's a lot of people who love this guy like an icon, just like the person I talked about that I worked with in New York City. And, Drip Coach had a lot to lose, viewers, because the Empire really supports Forex unabashedly, like Taylor Swift support, there's no questioning him. But this week, Driptopian lion roar in his face and produced what I believe is even something that Forex said, hey, I like it. Go back, Bitfighter, go back and listen to the video that he put up. It's a video that clearly you can hear Forex talking about it and praising it as being like the coolest thing, and how he was kind of like, I don't know if this will work. And then they showed it to him, and even Ray was happy, right? But through this whole thing, I've only been loyal to one thing, and that's God, specifically Jesus for me. And I'm not going to go through fear of, losing subscribers or viewers that I don't really have, and stand by this. So Here's the good news. There's a solution. You can't just automatically cut somebody out and not have a solution. You can't say all this stuff and not have a solution. It's up to the community now. We have Drip Coach with the marketing now. We have Foodtopian. We have Bitfighter. These are all things that are coming together that can help the drip community. We know what we have to do now. The code is going to stay the same. Just new things are going to be added to it. And should Forex win back my trust, I don't care. Like I said, this is a game. It's not a lifestyle or choice. This is a business, and I can't say specifically what it is. But ultimately, our whole goal for this show is to use the drip funds to build hotel hospitals to help people. And while we've been holding on for a little bit, it's not there anymore, you know? And the funds to create that are dependent on, you know, what Forex does next. And based on what happened, I can't do that. So congratulations to Drip Coach for being our next MVP, number 2. And I appreciated being over 100 subscribers, but we don't ask that you like, subscribe, or follow. This gives us the ability to be completely honest. We're not going to play to any crowd. We're going to play to what's right for the greater good. And right now, with what's been talked about, Drip Coach is what is that greater good, and we support him, we endorse him, and we wish him the best as he goes against the Empire. All right, guys, sorry to take this one so deep, but love you. And you know, regarding the whole Jesus thing, I don't care who you love or don't love, or I'm just sharing who I am. And we're not going to push any religious views. Just, I don't listen to people. I follow what I believe is love, and love only. And if I love my community, which I do, I love the drip community, got to speak out using the tools that I have to give you this view to the very small amount of people who watch the channel. So I thank you for getting us over 100. It was good to be there for as long as it lasted. And remember, game on.